Alright y'all, it's been about 11 days on the dot since I made my last video, but I'm back now with the top 10 missing maps / planets from Battlefront 2. Now obviously this video is going to consist of 10 missing maps that I think should have been in the game, but at the end of the video I'm also going to throw in 6 additional honorable mentions that I just couldn't go without mentioning. Now before we get into it, as always, I want to make sure y'all get the opportunity to follow your boy on Instagram. That's where you'll see all the updates for YouTube, TikTok, and the Instagram exclusive clips that I just started doing a couple days ago. And I also want to let you guys know that this is the 6th video in a series I started about 2 weeks ago, which is the top missing content from Battlefront 2. So if you want to watch all the videos that came before this one, the playlist will go in chronological order as soon as you click on it. And I cannot wait to show y'all what I got planned for after this series is done. Alright y'all, without any further ado or delay, let's hop into the top 10 missing maps from Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Who's the man?
Time to find out.
We're passing.
Alright y'all, now starting off things at number 10 is going to be Mandalore. Now the reason I have Mandalore at number 10 and it's not going to be any higher, despite all the hype that's going on with Mandalore, look, I get it. The Mandalorian season 7 of the Clone Wars, we get it. Mandalore is up right now. But the reason it's at number 10 is because Mandalore is not just a map. Mandalore is going to be reinforcements. Mandalore is going to be new heroes. It's just so much you got to add rather than just the planet to actually satisfy what we fans want. And if you didn't already know, I haven't been basing this series off the top 10 things that we all want. It's the top 10 things that we all want and the most realistic for EA and DICE to actually throw into the game for us. But I 250% agree with the fact that Mandalore definitely belongs in Battlefront 2. Obviously would have been post-launch for the simple fact that, like I said, there's just so much you have to add into the game before you can put the entire planet in there. Like without the Death Watch, without the actual Mandalorians, the reinforcements, the Darth Maul skin, the new Ahsoka skin, Ahsoka herself being in the game, Mandalore is kind of pointless. In my mind, if Mandalore is going to be in the game, I want to be able to recreate the entire siege of Mandalore from Star Wars The Clone Wars. And this weird city-like architecture that they have going on has always been a favorite planet of mine in Star Wars The Clone Wars for the simple fact that it's just different from anything that we've ever seen in the show. And on top of all that, this is definitely a map that can support all game modes in Battlefront 2's multiplayer. Now, number 9, we have Megiddo. Now, if you're not familiar with Megiddo, it's the planet where unfortunately my good man Ki-Adi-Mundi met his fate during Order 66. And I have 3 reasons as to why I feel like Megiddo should have been in the final cut of the game. 1, it's going to be a returning map from the original Battlefront 2, which is always a good sign. The second reason is because if you pay attention, Megiddo actually has some really interesting architecture, so the map wouldn't be anything close to a reskin, so it'd be a unique map on its own. And my third and final reason that Megiddo should be in the map is because it would give EA and DICE creative freedom to make the map look however they wanted, because it wasn't shown that much in Revenge of the Sith, so they wouldn't have fans on their back saying, oh, this is accurate, this is inaccurate. It would give them the chance to customize the maps around their game modes to give us the best experience. Now at number 8, I have a planet that you guys may or may not agree with me with. Now just hear me out on my reasoning for adding this one into the list. Now at number 8, I have Christophsis. Now if you're not familiar with this planet, this is the first one that we were shown in the Star Wars The Clone Wars movie back in 2008. And I think, in my opinion, I have a few good reasons to back me up as to why this planet should be in the game. My first reason is the fact that this is probably going to jump to number 1 for the best map that you can possibly play Supremacy or Galactic Assault on. And I say that because if you remember Christophsis correctly, it's a streamlined map with all these super long roads that just lead throughout the entire planet. Pretty easy to just slap an MTT on there and call it Galactic Assault if you ask me. And my second reason is pretty much just straightforward to the point. The map is just beautiful. I don't think anybody can really argue with that. Now number 7 is going to be fresh out of The Last Jedi. It's going to be Octo. I don't know what the correct pronunciation for that planet is. Just let me know down in the comment section. Now this map is going to be a heroes versus villains or hero showdown map only, and in all honesty the most exciting part for this map would be walking around and seeing all the little landmarks like the force sensitive tree, Luke's crashed X-Wing, the cave Rey walked into, the little villages that the Islanders were living in, and the actual island is big enough to where you're not going to have to worry about those Luke and Maul mains just pushing you off the map for easy kills. Now number 7 and number 6 actually go hand in hand. They're both going to be heroes versus villains and hero showdown maps only, and it's going to be Dagobah if you haven't guessed it. Now could they end up adding Galactic Assault and Supremacy if they really wanted to and it would make sense? Sure. I have all faith in EA and DICE that they would do it in a way that works. And once again, it'd just be another one of those cool maps to walk around and see all the landmarks. Like you could show the Huddy Stadium with Yoda, the training site with a little R2-D2 going around, the cave you walked into and saw Vader, his crashed X-Wing. It would also be a very unique map and set itself apart from anything else that's in the game, which is always a warm welcome when adding DLC into a game. Now at number 5 we have Alderaan. Hands down would have been one of the most exciting maps to throw into the game for the simple fact that, like Megiddo, we haven't seen much of it, so they can tailor it around their game modes and give us the best experience. And they wouldn't even have to start from scratch. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was shown in Revenge of the Sith for a very brief moment. But all that little detailed infrastructure inside the buildings, we've never seen any of that in canon, so DICE and EA pretty much have creative freedom to do whatever they want with that. Now number 4, no excuse. Utapau. They should have definitely added Utapau when they decided they were going to add Obi-Wan and General Grievous Grievous into the game. I don't know why that wasn't on the list of maps that they decided to put into the final cut, but let's get into it. Utapau is famously known for the planet that Obi-Wan finally killed General Grievous on. Now, pretty much like all the other maps that I have on this list, I want them to be unique and set apart from any other maps that we already have in the base game because you don't really want any reskins. I think this map would be perfectly suited for all game modes, and like I said, it's just one of those maps that was a missed opportunity for EA and DICE. Plus, Utapau's hangar was pretty much a huge gaping hole in the side of this sphere-like structure, so you could have definitely had ground-to-space combat. Well, not necessarily ground-to-space combat, but you know what I mean, ground-to-sky combat. Plus, adding this map would have given them the chance to introduce the manga guards into Battlefront 2, but we're going to save that for the missing reinforcements video that's coming soon. Alright y'all, moving into number 3 is going to be Exegol. Now this is a map that I want to have for all game modes, not just Heroes vs Villains or Heroes Showdown like some of y'all might have assumed. If you remember when Kylo Ren pulled up to the planet, there was that long walk we had to take to get inside. I feel like that'd just be the perfect location to have a little galactic assault map. Plus, the place itself is huge, so they can improvise on a lot of different things. That's why I feel like they could also add supremacy. But the main thing that I want to use this map for is going to also be Heroes vs Villains and Heroes Showdown. That throne room surrounded by the crowd, it would also be a nice location to have 1v1 duels. But like I said, we're going to save that for another video because I also want to talk about the missing game modes from Battlefront 2 while we're on the subject of that. I think the reason that I really like Exegol, aside from the fact that it's so sinister and different from any map that we have in Battlefront 2 already, is the fact that it's friendly to every game mode that's already in the game. It's just such an active map and there could be so much going on during each game mode to make it just feel super alive. Now number 2 is a planet that can go both ways. It's a planet that I understand why it's not in the game and I get why they didn't put it in post-launch, but the fans have been demanding it for so long that they should have just gave in. I'm talking about Mustafar. Now the reason that I think Mustafar is fitted for all the game modes is because Revenge of the Sith and even Rogue One only showed us a small amount of the planet. It was focused on one little part. Now the only problem that I can find with Mustafar is I don't know if I want to see Mustafar from Revenge of the Sith or Mustafar from Rogue One, and the only thing that really could probably separate them is the fact that in Rogue One you obviously have Darth Vader's palace, but in Revenge of the Sith you can have Queen Amidala's starship on the landing platform. That whole infrastructure was kind of taken down at the end of the movie, so your boy had to sit back and do a little bit of thinking, and this is what I came up with. So if you remember in Rogue One, we obviously saw Darth Vader's palace. Behind that was some flat land that they can kind of just mold and make a Supremacy and Walker Assault map. And for smaller game modes like Heroes vs Villains, Blast, Heroes Showdown, then we can have the Revenge of the Sith era Mustafar and just play on that map. Because in my mind, and y'all might hate me for this, when I think about Mustafar in Battlefront 2, I don't really think about where Anakin and Obi-Wan fought. That entire infrastructure, that would be cool to have in the game and I 100% want it, but even more so, I want to be able to see Vader's huge towering castle in the background of a galactic assault or supremacy match. I feel like for me that would just be so much more exciting. It'd be fresh, something we've never seen before, and it'd just be a great addition to the game. Now moving in at number 1 is a heartbreaker, and it's a heartbreaker because we know we all wanted this map in the game and we just knew we were not going to get it. It's going to be Coruscant. Coruscant is 100% a map that I feel like could have any game mode on it, and there's just so many different possibilities with it because you have the ground level of Coruscant, the Jedi Temple, and you have the streets underneath. Now 9 times out of 10 they probably wouldn't have done anything with the lower levels of Coruscant, the underground part of it, because it's just so crowded and it's not really a Battlefront type setting. But up above, it could have been like Bespin back in 2015's Battlefront, where you just had a giant walker walking around the city and nothing really looked out of place. You could also obviously have the Starfighter assault map over Coruscant and maybe even add Anakin and Obi-Wan as hero ships into the game to get people jumping back in Starfighter assault. Alright y'all, that's going to be it for my top 10 missing maps from Battlefront 2. Let me know down in the comment section what maps I missed, but like I said at the beginning, I do have 6 honorable mentions that I want to go over real quick. We're not going to get into much detail about them, but I want to let you guys know where my head was at while I was making this list. Alright, so my 5 honorable mentions are going to be Dathomir, Corellia, Ryloth, Polis Massa, Cato de Moya, and Cantonica or Cantonica. I don't know how to pronounce that last one. Now these 6 maps are pretty much in my mind the DLC maps. Maps we could have gotten in the distant future after we got these first 10 maps that I already had on this list. And if they kept updating this game and kept up with it, in all honesty, around this time, 2021 is when we should be getting these DLC maps that aren't necessarily essential to be in the game, but like I said, they'd be warmly welcomed. But that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. If you're new, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. Also, make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed the video and comment down below if you think there's any planets I missed or if you agree or disagree with my top 10 missing planets from Battlefront 2. And I know I pretty much went MIA for a little bit, but just know if I'm gone, I'll never be gone for too long. But once we start going super crazy and I have more time to edit these videos, we're going to be pushing out more TikToks, more YouTube videos, more Instagram clips, all that, man. The sky is the limit, and I haven't even scratched the surface for the content that I want to bring y'all on this channel. But I'm done with my little rambling session. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.